This is an Amstrad CPC 464. This was the first real computer I had with the color monitor. This is the one that actually taught me to program in BASIC. I was really deep into BASIC, writing programs and stuff. And the reason I got this instead of, for instance, a Commodore 64 or 20 or all the other computers is that this was capable of having 80 characters on the screen. That's why I chose this one, because in my world I was a programmer. I was young, but I was a programmer and I needed 18 columns. I couldn't settle with 30 or 35 or 40, whatever it was on the Commodore side. So I got this. I made loads of programs for my father, for his company on it. Different kinds of salary systems and ERP systems. Very simple, of course. I was young back then. It could. Eventually, I needed to be able to print invoices. So therefore, my father gave me a printer for my Amstrad computer. He didn't give me that specific one, but I have this one. This is an Amstrad DMP 2000. This came out in '85. This is the second printer that Amstrad produced. I think the first one was the DMP-1. So you just plugged in the back the cable and into the computer, and off you went with printing. And you had endless paper in it. In this case, you just feed it in here and it comes out there. Or no, I think it's the other way around. I think you feed it in from the front. I don't know. I haven't looked into this printer. We will do that eventually, but not today. From Amstrad, they also produced a text system, I'm gonna call it, which is the one behind me. This is the Amstrad PCW8 256 because there's 256K inside it. This came with the printer because this was word processor. So that's the printer that came with this one. Same principle. This is just like the other one, 9 pins matrix printer. Nothing special. I haven't looked into this. This is also gonna be featured eventually. I don't know if any of this is working, so we'll have a look at that. I think you have now realized today it's about printers, but it's not about these from Amstrad. Of course, I have printers from Olivetti. So let's have a look. Here they are. They're big, right? It's not a normal printer. It's the white kind of printer. So for white paper. So if you, for instance, had endless paper like this, you could have been using one of these printers, and you could even have wider paper than this one. Usually you would have normal, this is Danish, or this is European, so this is A4, but that's the normal printer size. And as you can see, it's a big printer. I have two. I have this one in the back. I know you can't see them. I will select one and we'll go through one of them. This in the back is the Olivetti DM309L for large. 309, that means this is 9 pin in the head when it prints on the paper. This is the DM424L, L again for large. 24 is because this has 24 pins, so it's smoother, it's nicer, it can do more details stuff. You would think nobody uses these, but these has actually been in production for a while. In use, sorry. I got this a few months ago. And this I got, I think it's almost 1.5 years ago, but this was taken out of production, or out of use. And you can even still get the the color fabric for the printer. So you can still buy stuff for this printer. It's the same in both of them. It's called FlexiCard 2 from Olivetti. So I hope I can get one of these, preferable both of them, up and running. I know this is going to be a little bit boring for some people who thinks everything has to be a computer, but next to a computer there's usually a printer, and this is why I'm doing this. My end goal is to get at least one of these up and running, and I'm gonna give this to the Danish Computer History Museum. It's in Copenhagen. The reason I want to do that is because I want to produce a real set of a real Olivetti. It's gonna be, I'll assume, a M28. It could be an M24 SP or something in that area, because this printer came out in 1986. This one over here in 1985, I think. So I wanted to like build a retro setup in a retro environment with a old Olivetti computer with the original printer. So that's the goal for me, trying to restore this printer. I hope this one is working. If not, I'll move over to this one and see if that one is working. I did find a tiny bit of information on this, nothing on this. So if you have any knowledge about these two printers, the DM309L, please write something in the comments so I can gather more information. If you have information about the DM424L, then also write them in the comments, sorry. So we can gain more information about it, so I can make a post about it. Okay, cool. I think I'm gonna put up the camera up there. We'll have a peek inside them very briefly. I had a tiny peek in this one. Disgusting. So I think we're not gonna be using this, but we'll have a peek inside and a peek inside, and we'll try to see if we can figure out how to open a printer up. This is a first time for me. I have no clue. So we're doing this together, and let's hope we have a success once we are done with this printer and can print out a hello world. So this is the first printer. This one is the Olivetti DM309L that we're gonna have a look at. Let me try and zoom a little bit in. Can't be much, it's big. And yeah, it's very dirty. My fingers are already dirty, but I just briefly wanted to show you the inside of this one. So you can open it up here. I hope you can see stuff. This is gross. So there are foam inside the printer. This goes also for the other printer, and that's to dampen the noise from the printer as such. But obviously over time this has disintegrated and it's all in there. And let me try to see if I can zoom a little bit more in and move the printer a little bit. There we go. You see this? That's gross. Let me put some more light on it. So this needs a thorough cleaning. This is the... Can we get it off? I'm not sure. Well, we can, but I don't want to force it up at the moment. Okay, cool. But nevertheless, as I said, I have these. It states the same here. So it is that one. This should fit down here, because I'm assuming this is 10, 15, 20 years old. I don't know if the head is working, if anything is working. If I do this, it seems to be turning a little bit around. And can I move? I can also move the head. So that also seems to be working. So what I will do with this is I will just rip it open somehow, and I will clean out all the foam that's disintegrating all over the place. Blow some air in it, and then I will eventually maybe also introduce this to the channel. Sorry for the noise. You can lift this up, and for some reason you can also lift this up. There's a handle in here. Let me zoom a little bit up. There we go. So everybody can see a huge printer. I think that's in the shot now. So that was the cover lifting up, and there's a handle, so somehow you can hook it into there. And I think this is when you have manual paper that you just feed in like this, standing up here. You most likely do that. Down there, that's where you hook the printer up. You put it in the feeding heads in here, and you close it, and then you turn it inside to the printer. I'm not going to do that. I have noticed that this handle over here, I hope you can see it, is broken off over there. It's missing. And there's a switch here, and this switch is most likely the one that knows whether or not there's a piece of paper. So that's obviously a problem, because how will we have something pushing on this? But we'll figure this out eventually, or I will just figure it out. That's the printer. Let me briefly, I need to turn it down there, this way. The issue with the printer is that I have no clue to get in. If I try to turn it around, this is just to explain the difference between the printers. I think, yeah, it was in there, sorry. Moving back. There and there are screws. So I will see if I can get all this off. Okay, that was that printer. The Olivetti DM309L. Let me take it away and let's have a look at the other printer. And here it is. It's kind of like the same. The buttons seems to more or less be the same. This is the DM424L. It's kind of like the same situation. This goes up. I feel I'm missing the other part that could have been here. But at least there's one here, there's one here. So this hasn't yet broken off. I will be careful with it. If we have a look inside, like this, I think, yes, same issue with the foam. Disintegrating. It's floating down here, but it's not as filthy as the other one. But every foam that's in all over the place. If we zoom a little bit in, move it over again. So there's loads of foam inside the printer, again for noise cancelling. That's, I need to rip it out. I don't think I'm gonna put new foam inside this one, nevertheless. So, it also seems to be working fine over there. As you can see, it's the same cartridge for the black paper, black ribbon, and this also moves. If I have a peek, yes, it feels smooth. It needs to be cleaned and maybe oiled a little bit, but it seems to be also okay-ish. So the goal is let's do this one. Let's try and see how to open this one up, split it apart, so to say. And yeah, well, I'm assuming we need to start by removing the two screws. That seems to be the same down here. So let me unscrew these. That seems to be easy. So I have, let me close this down. I think I can just, no. So the handle inside there is in the way. I feel we can just move it up this way. So over here, oh, there's foam all over the place now. I think this should just be able to pull this out. Oh, it comes. Oh, okay. Wow. That was lucky. So, very important information. There's a groove. Sorry. Can you see this? Let me. There's a groove here on this side. That needs to be on the hole. How can we fix this so you can see it like there? So this needs to be turned this way to get in, and then you can easily pull it out. So thank G, I just didn't pull it all the way, but I did this. So be careful. Okay. One issue down. Let's see how many we have still. So I'm assuming I can open the lid up now. I can. There's a ribbon. There's a ribbon down there going to all these, the panel, and it seems to be in there. It seems to be okay. Where is it hooked to? It's definitely not. It's not free up there. So where does it go? Okay. It's gonna be fun. Let me find the other camera. So I'm just briefly going handheld. So there you go. So what we're looking at is this ribbon in there. And let me just, now that I have the camera over, I was talking about this thing and this piece there. It goes in there. So you need to remember to have it, come on, focus. You need to have it like this. You see the groove up there. So it's inside, and don't pull it out like this. You need to turn it around and pull it out. Okay, cool. Too much education? No. Just having fun. So, struggling to focus again. Welcome iPhone. There we go. So that cable sits somewhere down there. So I need to rip this off in order to get that out. So let me put the camera back. I don't think that's the way to go. So I think I need to see if I can unscrew stuff from up here. Can I? Nope. Well, it is. I need to do it. Okay. Got it out finally. It was a struggle. It's out here. Sorry. There you go. And it feels intact. Well, there's a kind of like a bend all the way up here. So we'll see. Let me take this to the side. Needs to be cleaned and washed. So what do we see? We have a printer, of course. We have a huge power supply over here. Does it say anything? I'm looking for dates and stuff. It takes mains volt in. So it doesn't say anything specifically. Nope, no dates, no, maybe. Oh yeah, I think week 29, 1995. Wow, 95. Over here, this is the board. This is where you put the cable for your computer. Parallel printer port. I'm not sure what this is. So I think what I need to do first of all, just not to pollute my studio, I'm gonna take all of this out. I'm just gonna blow so I can get some of all of these bunnies out of here. It's all over my table now. So let me very briefly come back once I have done that. Let me briefly just before I leave you, it seems that the way to get this out is just to push in here. So it seems that I just need to push in here and lift it up. Easy peasy. There and there. There we go. That wasn't so hard. And yeah, I'm not sure if the belt, I think there's something, no, it is working. It is. So there's a motor down there that will eventually turn this on a bigger shaft, on a small shaft, on a bigger shaft that turns this one, which then eventually turns it this way, which then should, but it doesn't, turn this out. This is yeah, dried. Okay, enough of this. Let me clean it and come back. And it's day 2. And as you can see, well, I hope you can, I cleaned the casing inside and outside. I took it apart and I moved out the actual printer unit over there. And in the back up here we have the 309 with its power supply. We'll come back to that. That's only part of the power supply. And in the front here we have the 424. When I look at these units, the printing mechanism, they actually seem fine. Let me move a little bit in. I had a look at all the rails that the head's printer mechanism is sliding on, and it feels nice. I cleaned everything and I oiled it accordingly, and it moves actually as it should. I oiled the motors for the belt that moves the head left to right. I oiled the motor up here that will move both the tractor head in the back and the printer roll. I don't know what this black thingy is called in English. So I did that on both of them and they actually feel okay. So my hope is that the printer head unit, let me use the other finger, this one, and this one up there. Sorry, there we go. I hope they're fine. I don't hope there are any rust in them. I hope that we can make all of this up and running. If it's rust inside the actual pins that are in the printer head, we could be stuck, but maybe we'll then just tear it further apart and have a look at that. It's difficult if you take out the head, because then you need to align the printer head afterwards. So that's going to be a huge task. Over here we have the casing, as I said, and I have cleaned everything. The casing, I glued stuff together that was broken, and it kind of like seems fine. There are a few issues and a few scarves, but all in all, I am happy with the results. I moved all the disintegrated foam that was both inside and outside. I put my own foam on it. So this is just for noise cancellation. I know it's silver and it should be black, but this is what I had. So that's also done. And I'll move the camera, the above camera in, and we'll have a look inside the actual printer. And that's a printer board in both of them. And we'll have a look. All in all, my conclusion is that the casing itself is like 99% the same. The bottom casing, the one that you see, move this up here, this casing down here, that is 100% the same. And this mechanism is also the same, but this piece is not completely the same as this one, but I just think that this mechanism is missing up here, and on this one up here, this item that moves up here is missing over there. So if only one of the printers are working, I will, for instance, if this one is working, this one is not, I will try to move this one over to here, so it's more the same. And obviously, if this one is working and this one is broken, unrepairable, I can move this piece over to this piece. Enough talk. Let's move to the above camera. Okay, I rearranged the cameras so we can have a look. This is the 309. This is the 9-pin matrix printer, and as I said, I have cleaned everything. I'm not going through how much I cleaned it, but as you can see, the foam is in there, so that has been changed. Sorry for leaning in. And I put some foam here, and the printer board, I'll come briefly back to this printer board that's in here. Over here sits the power supply. Well, it's not quite a power supply. As I can see, this gives me AC, and this is a AC to DC converter. So rectifier here with a 15 volt capacitor there. So there's a power supply built in to this. So this takes the, I will say, between 20 and 30 volts AC in here, and it rectifies it to whatever is needed for the board. And as I would assume, it's only 5 volts. Everything here should more or less be 5 volts, unless the motors for the printer unit needs 12 volts. I have no clue about that. Nevertheless, I wanted to open up the power supply. Well, this unit, I don't think we should call it a power supply, and I hope we can see it. So there's some screws, and so it's, yeah, let's just unscrew it and let's see what's inside. Somewhere there must at least be a fuse. It takes mains volts in here, and there's an on and off button here, so there must be a fuse somewhere. So let's just, before we hook anything up, see if this actually is working. So let me just very briefly take out the last screw. So this transformer, as I will assume that it only is, will just regulate the AC voltage down, and I will assume that it's like 30 volts. There we go. Okay. Yes. So there's a fuse down there. I'm not sure you can see it, but nevertheless, that's the fuse in here. So let's just quickly measure it. It hasn't blown, so that is fine. There's a small label. It says T630 MA 250 volts. I can't see that you can use anything but 220, 30, 40 up to 50 volts main on this power supply. It doesn't seem to be a switch where you can just go on 110, 15 and so on and so forth. Shall we open it further up? Yeah, let me try and get the rest of the screws out. I think I'm on to the last screw. Obviously I need to make a statement. This is a power supply, this is main voltage. Please don't mess around with a power supply. It's not hooked in, I know. And there's no capacitor or anything that can store actual voltage within this unit, because it is what I said. It's just taking AC in and converts it down to a minor voltage, which I will assume is 20, 30, yeah, most likely 30 volts. So there's nothing to see here. It is what it is. It's clean. It's not, I don't see any rust or anything. So I will just close it up again And then we need to try and test it. And just for the last time, please remember, if you're working with power supplies, be careful. They can kill you, or you can really get hurt. So please don't mess around if you don't have any knowledge about them. I try to stay as much away from power supplies as I can. That was the power supply. Let me hook up a voltmeter like this. Let me move it a little bit out. And this needs to be on AC. And can we have it in the shop maybe like this? And it is turned off. So I'll put in some mains, which has also been turned off. So I'm turning the actual unit on, and then we should be able to see some voltage once I put some power. 3, 2, 1, go! We're not getting anything. So we have a dead power supply. How can that be? Okay, as you can see, I opened it up again because it makes no sense. The fuse is not broken, so the only thing, and the wires seemed okay, so the only thing, I think it's actually the switch. It's not cool. It's very hard, the switch up here. So how do I get it out? I want to look at the connections of the switch. I think there's a screw down here. This is copper, which goes from the ground, and that copper then gets connected to the ground of the casing, the inner casing, the shielding. Weird. Well, okay, so can I get this out now? Yes, I can. Okay, so it's gonna be a little bit tight fit. Hope everybody can see. So let's try and figure this out. So this is left and right, so neutral is one of them over here, and this must be ground, all of this around there. So let's briefly measure. Yeah, so if I take this side to this side, yeah, which goes down there, and then it goes on the switch. So I'm assuming it's on. Is it? The switch is on. So if I turn it off, which means that from here, the plug comes in there, runs down there, and goes through the switch in there, and now it doesn't come out. This one, that's ground, that's the middle pin. Yeah, which then goes to each side, here and here. And on the right side here, which is this one, it's difficult to hold it. Let me try again. There we go. So it goes there, which runs down here to there, and then it is supposed to be coming out here. So all in all, the switch is sitting here that bridges these two once it's turned on. So let me try again to turn it on. Stuck. It is turned on now. So we confirm we have a connection here, right? Yes. And there's no connection there. That's why we don't see any power going into the transformer. Dang it! I could desolder it. How could we look at? Is there somewhere I can drop some deoxide inside? I'm absolutely not sure. I've never seen a switch like this before. But I'm afraid that's what we have to do. Oh, I need to be careful over here. Oh, there we go. So, yeah. Let me desolder these. We just need to be sure we understand which way it sits. So the on button marking is towards this one. So let me fire up the desoldering gun, and let's remove the switch. We're almost there. Let's see if we can desolder this. It's out. Does this in any way, shape or form help us to have a look inside? No, it doesn't. It does not help us in any way. Yes. Oh, whoa! Can we focus on this, please? So I can tear it apart. So this back piece can be lifted off. Ooh. I'm not sure I want to do it, but we'll have to do it because I see some clips. Oh, that's funny. Look. Okay. I feel I need to make a few markings just to be sure we get it the right way. Criss-cross. Okay, so this didn't leave us inside. We didn't manage to get inside anyway. So where can we put some deoxide in? It seems sealed. The only thing I feel, there's a hole there. I don't think the deoxide will help in this case, but we can try. Wiggle it a little bit. This is what I'm afraid of. You see, it's now all glued. What does this mean? For safetyness. But it's much smoother now. But does it work? I feel I need to zoom a little bit out because I'm a little bit all over the place. There we go. So how does it work? It was, yeah, what was it? One of the sides. I'm assuming one of these. So we're trying to do this. That one is connected. That one is connected and it's on. If I do off, nothing, nothing. So it is working. Let me clean this up, wipe it down, ensure that it's safe to use, and then I shall come back. And it's back together with all the glare that comes from the camera. A few pieces and bits that I haven't screwed in, for instance, the actual casing I haven't, if we need to open everything up again if it's not working. So I hooked all the cables to it, and there's nothing more than to go there, hope for the best on the lights over here, and that is not blowing up in our face. I'll say 3, 2, 1, go. I see, and I hear. Okay, what happened? Did it do anything? It did. So I think, yeah, okay. I think it's working. I just don't know how. No matter what, we absolutely have, I don't know what all the buttons. Remember, we don't have a manual for any of the two printers. So please, if anybody has any of the actual technical manuals or just a manual for the DM309 or the DM424, please put them in the link or write me an email so I can get them, because I don't know what to press. Line feed obviously move stuff up. Should I find some paper? Let's just I don't know. Let's just move some paper in. And then line feed should feed it. It does. Let me just briefly open this one up. There's no ribbon. It actually happens to be so that I have opened up this ribbon that was in here just to see how it was inside. It is actually broken. There are pieces here which somehow is related to be touched by this, around this. So there are broken pieces inside this, so this will never have worked, but it's also completely dried out. But it's not it's just it goes around and around and around and around constantly. But as I said, this one is broken. I have another one put in. I just need to, it absolutely seems to be, yeah, moving, doing stuff as it should. Let me just, how do I get back? Here. Perfect. Form feed. So this was line feed. Form feed should push it out. It does. Ta-da! That's amazing. Okay. Well, I kind of had hoped it wouldn't be working. So we could have had a talk about finishing this one up, but maybe the other one is not working. Okay, I will, I'm a little bit too excited right now. I didn't expect this to be working. Cool. Enough talk. Let me take this one away and let's bring forward the other one and see if we are equally lucky. The motherboard, which sits up here with the parallel port in, entrance in the back, it's not completely the same. Another thing I wanted to say, you will be able to see some of it. This is the cable that gives the signal to the head. The only thing that this cable does, this goes in here and goes over there and goes then this way to the motherboard. Remember, the power supply is up here. This is the only one that ejects the needle and tells the needle whether to punch in or punch out. That's what this one does. That's why there are not that many, I haven't counted them, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think there's 12 lines on this cable. When we go to the other one, you'll see that 2 of these. And the plug for it on the board is a double plug. So everything is bigger because this is 9-pin and the other one is 24. Enough talk. Let's move on. This is taking too long. Okay, I feeded some more paper in the printer, and somehow there needs to be like a settings or information about the printer that it can do some auto mode or something. And I think I discovered that if I press down on, let me zoom a little bit more in, over here on the line feed, if I actually hold this in whilst I'm turning on the printer on the sides, so holding in, it goes into a test mode. Let's just see. let me close it again, and let me see if I can push this one down once again, like this. And I think maybe we can have a close look. Let me zoom in on it. I hope this comes forward. So what it states is that basic version release 1.04a, and the ROM is the PEF6. I have dumped the ROM and it's on archive.org. It gives some basic information about the printer, the setup. So it tells me that the interface, that's the card that was in the printer, that this is parallel. It's an 8-bit thing, and the line per inch is 6, and the form feed length is 12 inch. So you can set all this up by going into another settings in the printer. Besides that, it also shows me the character set, the 255 characters that it has. That's kind of like it. The thing that we need to figure out is we need a manual, because if we zoom a little bit further out, so on the printer, you can change the settings for the printer over here, and you do that by starting up the printer, and then you can go into setup mode. It says setup down here, and then you can do stuff. I haven't figured this thing out. I need the manual to continue to figure this one out, but nevertheless it prints beautifully. So we can say we have a printer, the Olivetti DM309L. That's super cool. I know this video has been taken a little bit longer than I expected it to, but on the other hand, I had also hoped that this was broken, so we could look and investigate into the printer board and stuff. But nevertheless, it's working. That leaves us with the other printer, and let me swap the camera around. I'm very happy that this printer is working, so now I can make a setup and hook it to a computer. I'm not gonna do this today, and the reason why this video has been taking too long. As you can see, the other printer is equally cleaned, and I have tested it, and it prints, but there are issues. So the printer head is working fine, no problem. It seems to be working as it should. It can also print out that test sheet that we just printed on the other one. It can do this, but it's broken multiple places, and I know this won't come forward very easily, but and we will make an episode about this. I'm afraid I need to tear all of this apart, and we need to look into all the mechanics within the printer. For instance, the wheels down here, there are LEDs that will hold down the paper, pushes the paper down. These are broken. I literally looked at them and they connect off. That was weird. I don't know if I have a ghost inside my YouTube studio. I have tons of other pieces that are breaking up every time I'm looking at it. This one over here, let me try to lift it a little bit up. So we're talking about these two. This one is completely loose and it's broken somehow. I cannot figure it out right now. This one over here seems to be okay, but if I try to turn here, I can't turn more than just this. I can see it moves here, so the piece of metal that goes through within the gear stuff and all the mechanics in here is trying to turn, but somewhere it's stuck within these elements. I don't know if it's over here or over here. So we need to open this printer up, have a look, and rip this out. It's gonna be surgery eventually. So I'm leaving this printer, but it is printing. So if I don't do the feed via the printer here, but I push it over here, which means you just feed normal paper in, just like I did over there. This one works because then it turns this one off in the back, and then it will print. It worked. It had some issues in the beginning when I tried to print. Every time it could go this way, so it did move this way over without any problem. Sorry, it moved this way without any problem. But when it had to do this, it got stuck, and then it thought it was here, it was the beginning. So it was like this, and then it moved back. So there were issues. So I had to investigate to see if I could figure out what the issue was. I had hoped that the foam, which we put in both of the printers, this foam down there, that this was maybe too high. So I actually have ripped it out over there. Didn't help. But over time, it seems that it's now gliding smoothly. I will assume it's the motor. So we most likely need to somehow open the motor up also. Nevertheless, this has been going on for a long time, and I am very pleased with both of the printers. This is the 9-pin printer, this is the 24-pin. This produces prettier results when it prints than this one. It's even faster. But we are stuck, and I need to produce another video for this one. So with this, I hope you enjoyed my first time ever view of an Olivetti printer. Never owned one before. I'm very happy. Once I've fixed both of them, they will be, I will ask the museum, the Danish Computer History Museum, if they want to have one or both of them, because then we can make a setup with the Olivetti computer. I haven't even tested that yet with this printer. So we don't know if a computer can communicate. So that's also gonna be on the episode 2 once I have figured out this. Before I leave you, if any of you have any documentation, the manual, service manual, specifications for these two printers, the DM309L, you don't need to have the L, that just means it's large, so wide. So if it's just 309, that's good enough. The same goes for the DM424. If you have any documentation with that, please write to me so I can get some more knowledge about the printer and to set it up and stuff. And I think with that, I want to thank you for watching this, and I hope to see you soon. So goodbye from here. Oh, by the way, it's my birthday today.